Well, first, this is Scout. He's a golden eagle. He's, I believe, 17 years old, and he was a rescue. A farmer up in Wyoming was threatening to shoot him, and I was called in by the federal government to rescue him before he got shot. So this is a full-grown wild eagle. Now, eagles have always been very, very special to me, and you know, I got to work with my first eagle when I was about 16, 17 years old. And a local game warden brought an eagle in for rehab when I was a teenager. And the thing that I noticed about eagles is their intelligence and their patience and their personality. They can be incredibly silly and mischievous. They can be extremely serious. Now, these are certainly in every respect a wild animal, and you always have to respect that. It was a long, long dream of mine, not just to rescue and return eagles back to the wild, but to be able to have a golden eagle for falconry, and to have a golden eagle that I could actually be friends with. And it's hard for people to understand the animals that I rescue. I don't do this with. I don't socialize with them. I don't acclimate them to people. Wild is wild, and all the animals that I rescue, I want to return back to the wild. And so I always have to keep a very, very professional distance from all the eagles that I rescue. And that sometimes can be very, very hard because I'm very emotionally attached to these guys. And so Scout fulfills that need that I have to go further than just a patient that I'm rehabilitating. So he is my friend. And because of that, Scout and I can go out. All of this comes off. I turn him loose. He flies free. He goes thousands of feet in the sky, flies with the wild eagles, and he follows me as I flush out jackrabbits for him to catch. So he gets to fly like an eagle and hunt like an eagle, and we still have him available for our school programs, Scout programs, and other educational opportunities. So he kind of does double duty as an educational animal plus a falconry bird. And so that's kind of how we got Scout. Like I said, it's a very, very rare opportunity for someone to be able to say that one of his dearest friends is a full-grown wild eagle. And for me personally, unfortunately, I have a tough job because I have to take eagles, hawks, wildlife in general, but eagles especially, and when they come in and they're so severely injured they cannot be repaired, and then I have to make the decision to do the humane thing, which means to euthanize them. And when I have to put an eagle to sleep, it's a very, very bad day, and that happens far too often. In fact, most wildlife rehabilitators only survive emotionally for about 3 or 4 years, and then they can't deal with the stress and the disappointment of working with these animals in such a critical situation, and they get out of it. Well, I've been rescuing these guys for almost 50 years now, and one of the ways that I can emotionally survive is that I have an eagle that's a friend. And I get to sit down and hang out with Scout and talk and feel bad, and he helps me understand that I can't save all of them. We rescue an awful lot of eagles, both golden eagles and bald eagles. They come in every year, and right now my largest chamber that I have is 10 feet wide, 12 feet tall, and 40 feet long. That's fine for housing them. They get to move around a little bit, and then I have to use falconry techniques to get them exercised for release. We really desperately need a chamber that is 50 feet wide, 100 feet long, and about 20 feet tall, to give the eagles enough room that they could actually fly and circle within the chamber to build up their wing strength and exercise before they're released back to the wild. And the great thing is, this particular location here in southern Utah is very centrally located, which would allow us to receive other eagles that have been rescued from other rehabilitators and place them into our flight chamber. I could certainly see eagles coming from all over the United States to get exercised in the flight chamber. And not only could we do eagles in the flight chamber, but the California condor, which is been relocated here to southern Utah. The goal of the flight chamber, yes, is to care for the animals, but secondly, again, it's an educational facility. Here's the concept. Most of you, or especially if you live out in the rural areas, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. Out in any place that grows, especially alfalfa, we have hay barns. Now, the hay barns are basically nothing but a roof supported by some metal pillars and a span of roof, and they put the hay under the roof to keep out of the weather. There are no sides. Now, what I would do with an eagle flight chamber is I would start off with the completely open, with just a metal roof type structure that is clean and smooth, and that there's no sharp edges, and that there's nothing the animals can get hurt on. And then we would purchase about 4 of these cargo containers, shipping containers that you see around that people use for storage. You get 4 of those cargo containers, which would give us 80 feet long, 2 on one side of the hay barn, 2 on the other side of the hay barn type structure. And then from there, we would then take thin wall tubing, metal tubing, and weld the thin wall tubing going up vertically, and then barring all the way around the top half of the flight chamber, so that there'd be lots of ventilation, the birds could see out, and those kinds of things. And then basically put a center wall in the 50-foot wide facility that would leave 20 feet on each end. And so we would kind of turn that into, the birds could fly 100 feet, turn, fly 50 feet, turn, fly 100 feet, turn, and circle inside this container to get their exercise. And then inside the center section, we would then put in a little observation area where the birds couldn't see the public, but the public could see out and see the animals exercising inside the chamber. We're talking a facility that's going to be about 70 feet by 100 feet long. So it's a big facility. But again, it would be a world-class facility that these animals could get their exercise. And like I said, not just eagles, but large hawks and owls and falcons and so on could exercise in a facility like that. The community is so excited about what we're trying to do. And again, in small town Utah, raising the funds is very difficult. And so we have to be able to reach out well beyond southern Utah, Cedar City and southern Utah, and out into the rest of the country to say, please help us. This is something that your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren will be able to come to this amazing park. And wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to say that you had a small piece in the development of the Cedar Canyon Nature Park? And so we would love everyone to roll their sleeves, give us a hand, and we'll make this park a world-class facility for everybody.
Recording, so
Okay, the reason for the banner here at the banner, our banner, They're confusing me. I apologize. The reason for the flight cage here at the Cedar Canyon Nature Park, the eagle flight cage, is that
flight chamber.
flight chamber is fine. The reason for the eagle flight chamber at the Cedar Canyon Nature Park.
Oh, flight banner.
Flight banner.
Hold on.
Shame on you.
No, that's what I wanted.
Okay, everybody, it's her fault. She's harassing me.